all the kings that ever reigned, put together, have not affected the life of man as powerfully as this one solitary life. Have you ever noticed how one life can make such a difference? Look at Christ's life. He was one man with one solitary life, but he impacted so many lives. Have you ever wondered what life's really about? I was thinking the other day, I only have one life to live, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my life. God, I think, works through everything that we grow up with, helping us discover what we're meant for in the end.
When I was in grade school, the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary were my teachers, and I really looked up to them. They were quite an inspiration for me. I used to go and help them clean the classroom after school, and I would say that they are the ones who planted the seed of a vocation in my life.
How would you know if you had a vocation? Like, the call isn't a lightning bolt from the sky like St. Paul for everyone.
A vocation to me is a calling from God to follow Jesus in a particular way of life. A religious vocation is to follow Jesus in the religious life.
I remember being on a retreat, and while I was on this retreat, after I was following Mass and sitting in chapel and after praying during Mass and just being so very drawn into the celebration of the Mass and into the power of the Eucharist, so many different memories started to arise as I asked the Lord, like, what's missing in my life? Like, why everything that I wanted to put in place has kind of fallen into place, but I'm not happy, I'm not fulfilled. What else is missing? And just these memories from being at Mass as a child, through being at Mass at school, through Masses and the power of the sacraments throughout my life, I just started to realize, like, wave after wave of memories, the Lord almost hit me between the eyes and made me realize, wait a minute, maybe I'm supposed to be a priest. So it would have been really on a retreat when I was a junior in college.
Have you ever felt afraid about something? Like, there's something ahead that you don't know what it's going to be, like the fear of the unknown? Because I was thinking, if I did have a religious vocation, I'm afraid of it, so maybe that's a sign that I don't have a religious vocation.
Well, I would say, in a sense, anyone who gets called to the priesthood or religious life or consecrated life, if you're smart, you're scared, because you realize very quickly that you're called to something that's really beyond you. It's beyond your capabilities.
Imagine the moment of the actual consecration or ordination. In that moment, they have to trust completely that they're doing the right thing, giving their entire lives to God.
I was consecrated 10 years ago, and I thought it was a tremendous gift to be consecrated to Christ, to be his spouse, and to be able to grow in intimacy with him. And actually on that day, I just felt so free. I felt like God had given me a beautiful gift in my life.
The day of ordination, I had this feeling that finally life is beginning. In other words, this finally, with the grace of God, I arrived at a point where I thought this is what my life was about. This is what Christ really had in mind for me.
What keeps vocations motivated to continue after their first yes? The first yes, the first step of generosity, is just the beginning of a life of generosity and self-giving to others.
What helps to persevere in vocation? Well, partly it's a mystery, because my guess is that there are a lot of people praying for me. Those prayers are very helpful for perseverance. In other words, it's something that doesn't just depend on me. It really depends on the grace of God and praying for all priests.
Giving God to someone in need. You know, there's so many different ways that as a priest we bring Christ to people in need. One of my favorite things as a priest is to hear confession and to celebrate the sacrament of reconciliation, helping people and seeing people walk out of that sacrament a different person. Really, their hearts renewed, a sense of hope, a sense of life, a burden lifted. There's just so many different experiences where people have come into confession just with the burdens on their souls and been able to walk away from confession with just really that new life of Christ burning.
For 14 years in the Dominican Republic, and the beginning was that our sisters in the Dominican Republic started a project to live with poor people. We lived in a poor neighborhood in the parish, Ascensión del Señor, and our first time there was just to be present. We asked the priest, what should we do? And he said, be present for the people. And so people came to us sometimes for asking for a glass of water or whatever.
My life was given to me by God. Am I willing to give it back to